Stonesbitter First Division Championship at the Willows, a waterlogged pitch and the snow coming down, reminiscent of the conditions when this match was postponed a few weeks ago. Let me quickly run through the teams. There's many changes in the Salford's team tonight. New man from Australia, Scott Wilson at full-back in the three-quarters, Critchley, Naylor, McAvoy and Cousins. Half-backs, Quigley and Brown, and in the forwards, Eccles, Marshall, Marsden, Webster, Blease and Paniper, and substitutes, Burkitt and Randall. So Salford up against the Leeds team, 13 matches without defeat, strong team, must be fancy for tonight. Tate at full-back, three-quarters, Fallon, Iro, Hassan and Cummings. And in the half-backs, Innis and Vasilakopoulos, and in the forwards, Marlow, Lowe's, Leatham, Mercer, Mann and Hanley, and substitutes, Fozzard and Schultz. Stewart's over from Leeds, must be fancying your chances, Stewart.
That's well, Leeds 13 matches unbeaten, of course, before tonight's encounter. If they win tonight, they'll go to the top of the table. We've got Graham Allred with us here as well today. Graham, Leeds go top of the table if they win tonight. They really can't afford to lose.
No, not really, even though we've got some players out. I think the lads out there, they're determined where they're talking tonight. You know, they're hoping, for a win tonight. Let's hope we can go top of the league.
And we're hoping, of course, to keep the pressure on Wigan, and we're just waiting for them to slip.
Yeah, they've got some tough games. They've got to go to Warrington and places like that. You know, we've got to go there as well. But I think with the team and the strength in squad that we've got, this year, I think with the experience as well, that we can go top of the league, and let's hope we can stay there.
Okay, well, we're hearing from Graham throughout the game. That's the first penalty of the game, and it's gone to Salford. Leeds caught offside inside the 10 metres. Ray Tennant very keen on the 10-metre rule, and Ray Tennant, of course, the referee for this game, would not have been the referee had it been played in the original date, as he was injured, and Russell Smith was down for that night. It was Russell Smith who called the game off. That's Cliff Eccles with a good strong drive. Leeds moving up quickly there. And good defence from Leeds, pushing him down, knocking him onto his back. And again, Sean Brown, the danger man, as far as Leeds are concerned this evening. Quickly in at the tackle there, three men on number 11, Richard Webster, the former Welsh rugby union, Sam Paniper. We'll be remembering back to his days against Leeds against Wigan. Brown's knocked the ball, it's gone backwards, says the referee. Quigley on the ball, and Leeds quickly into the tackle. We're up to the last tackle now. The ball back for Sean Brown, and Sean Brown kicks a high spinning bomb. And really Leeds can just let that one bounce, and knock on there. So that's the sixth tackle, that'll be the turnover. And Leeds will have possession with Francis Cummings. Phil Hassan quickly from acting half just takes the ball up to the first line of defence, and Leeds. Oh, Ray Tennant should have really given a penalty against Sam Paniper, holding down Tim Latham. That's good strong running from Latham, making his full debut tonight. Just a couple of substitute appearances. And Massini from Marlow will carry on the charge up towards halfway. So that's good running from Leeds there, taking that ball 20 metres in those first tackles in these bad conditions, and now getting Mercer back in the side after injury. That's a good ball. Innis. Oh, great play there from Leeds, and Francis Cummings is away, and he's got space now. Hanley's inside him as ever, looking for support, and that's the first try of the night to Leeds. It's going to be Ellery Hanley to go in. Well, great try there from Ellery Hanley. Lovely football there, Graham, right from the middle of the field.
Yeah, they did well there. They got a good set of three and good drives by Phil Hassan, Jim Leatherman, Asini Faimala, and good hands by Craig Vassey, and George Mann sends Francis Cummings away, and Ellery Hanley's there ever backing up like he usually does.
So that's the first try, Steve. Good try from Leeds.
Oh yeah, they played it simple for the first 5 tackles, and when it came to the 6th tackle, they put the ball through the hands to create the space outside. Salford's Cousins was left almost on his own, and great support from Hanley as always, and really Leeds giving Salford a lesson in the 2nd minute, and I just hope that that's not a sign of what's to come, because if it is, we could really be seeing a cricket score tonight.
Lines the ball up. Hooks that one wide. So it's 4 points to 0 then for Leeds. So already the Salford supporters getting the bird to their team, who've only really missed one tackle, and it's cost them 4 points. And Sean Brown will kick off. And of course Salford must be really down, Steve, after that defeat by Featherstone Rovers.
Well, I don't know, can't speak for the players, but I am. I was pig sick on Sunday because we actually thought that we were going to go somewhere this season, and it wasn't just the defeat. I mean, being a Salford supporter who used to that, it was the style of defeat that really hurt. And so, yeah, I hope that they're going to come bouncing back, but not so far.
Okay, Leeds pick up their first penalty of the evening there for a tackle on Craig Innes. It's number 3, Nathan McAvoy, who's been called out, and Sam Panapa, the skipper tonight, has been also pulled over. No, it's not, it's Scott Naylor, thanks Graham. In fact, it's Scott Naylor there, just looking at the size of him, it's former Wigan player, Scott Naylor, yes. And Alan Tate kicks for touch, and the jeers from the Salford crowd will tell you that didn't go very far, but it certainly made the touchline side. And Faimalo drives forward. That's good tackling from Salford, knocking him back there. Laws quickly in, acting half, plays the ball. Jim Latham steps the first man. Takes play forward in the middle of the field. Hanley and Ian Blees in bother there as Gary Mercer runs away. And some problem there between Ellery Hanley and Ian Blees, I think. And Ellery Hanley having his friend, and the touch judge on that far side, I think he's Mr. P. Walton, is it? Yes, it's Peter Walton from Castleford. And the penalty's gone to Leeds. Richard Webster the culprit. So quick kick there from Alan Tate, finds touch, and Leeds could have a roll on here if James Laws can play the ball there. Well, the ball hits Ray Tennant on the head and stops Leeds from a quick play the ball. And Laws back to the spot, 10 metres in. Sini Faimalo will drive forward. Picks out the first Salford defender, running strong and hard. And again now the ball with Vass. Vass dumming, going himself. And that's 30 metres from the Salford line. It's James Laws is acting half. And that's got to be a penalty. The Leeds interfering there at the play the ball. Panapa. That's the third time, Graham, that Panapa's had a little interference, and the first time he's got penalised for it.
Yeah, I think the Salford are getting a bit frustrated at the moment. You know, 6 minutes gone and we're already Leeds are 4 points up. I think Francis Cummins will go for goal. Let's hope he can get that over 6-0. And I think, you know, as long as Leeds, you know, they play their rugby, I think they should come out winners tonight.
Well, I think, Steve, that they're going to have to, Salford are certainly going to have to cut out the indiscipline at the play the ball. So Sam Panapa's had 3 goals at the play the ball and finally been penalised for it.
Well, he's the man with the old head, and I think as much as anything, he's probably trying to set the example. He's captain for the day. He's very much got in mind what happened on Sunday, and it's one of the ways that you can show you're the captain by making sure that, you know, the opposition know that you're there. In all fairness, what we've seen is actually no worse than the very often they get away with, in all fairness. I mean, it's not been in any way vindictive. Panapa's not like that. But like, I think Salford know that perhaps Leeds obviously have got the pace on the Salford players, and those vital seconds are all important if Salford are going to stay in this game, particularly in these opening minutes.
So Francis Cummins then with the ball, 30 metres, just about 5 metres to the right hand side of the upright. It strikes it well, strikes it high, and strikes it through. So that's 6 points to 0 in Leeds in the lead. That's just the sort of start that Leeds would have wanted in they came here tonight. They've got a weakened team out, as you've already heard, and they'll have been looking for to get some early points on the board to put pressure on Salford, and Salford will find themselves kicking off again.
Where's this weakened team weak?
Well, we've got 2 non-halfbacks at halfback, Steve, this afternoon.
They've got the first team hooker from many years' experience, and what's the difference between halfback and hooker these days?
Well, you could be right there, but in fact, the ball's lost there by Leeds, and so Salford have a chance now. It's Gary Mercer, I think, who's put that ball down, so Salford will have a chance to attack now. In the Leeds quarter, there'll be a scrum. And Ray Tennant's already given a penalty there at the scrum. So penalty there. Sean Brown will just lob that ball in the touch.
Salford in possession inside the Leeds 20, powering for the line. Cliff Eccles, great run from him, not enough to all-prize on the defence, and neither is that from Bob Marston. But for the first time, the Leeds defence being tested. Can Salford do something close in? Nice little inside move. Richard Webster, a rare first start for him in the first team. And who's that going over? Push back over the line. Jonathan Quigley, or does he know it's Marshall? So close in. Good defensive line from Leeds. Panapa having to stand still. Gets his pass on to Newboy out there. Oh, that side is the room. No, there isn't. The Leeds defence much too fast for the Salford attack. 6 tackles Salford made no headway at all in actual fact. This time it's the kick across field. Great kick to Cousins. And can Cousins get it at the corner? No, he can't. So unlucky. The difference between the two teams. Salford's kick judged to perfection, but unfortunately the pace not there from Cousins. Great period of play from Salford though.
Yes, good defence from Leeds there and good attack from Salford. That was a finely judged kick from Sean Brown, who's once or twice has been responsible for Leeds' downfall with his kicking game over the last few years. Gary Mercer, that's great ball, puts Kevin Ido away there in the gap. Ido finds Fallon, and Fallon's in sparkling form at the moment. Comes back in off the wing. Great run there from Jim Fallon and good play from Kevin Ido. So Vasilakopoulos in the middle of the field finds Craig Innes and the ball whipping across there to George Mann, who straightens things up. Lovely ball for Innes. And a good tackle coming in there from Scott Naylor. Leeds will use a short side. Alan Tate finds Fine Marlow. And again, that's good play from Leeds, taking play right up to the 30-metre line. The last tackle now with the ball in the hands of Alan Tate. Alan Tate puts up the bomb, that's probably too far. Francis Cummins is chasing and knock on over his own line, so that's going to be a drop out. So good pressure there from Francis Cummins, Graham.
Yeah, very good pressure. Alan Tate, he's going to be the kicker tonight. He told me that he was going to go to the A. He did go to the A. Everybody thought he was going to go too long, but I think with a win tonight, it just held back a bit, and then good chasing by Philip and Francis Cummins.
And so good defence there from Leeds, and that's got Salford dropping out under the post, Steve.
And Leeds playing the game at twice the speed that Salford are playing at it in that attack, Stuart.
Yes, at the moment Leeds certainly looking at the more lively of the two sides. So Vasilakopoulos plays the ball, and Leeds using the short side with Gary Mercer. Mercer running across on those angle runs, straightens up but nowhere to go, but that's give Leeds plenty of width there as Vasilakopoulos picks up the ball. Not a good pass, but he's picked that up and taken play into the 20 metres. Another try for Leeds now would certainly be what they would require. Ellery Hanley shrugs off the first man, puts Iro through the gap. Iro pounding away. Fallon comes inside. Fallon is looked to be pushed towards touch, but again Leeds using the strength out wide. And again Leeds have got the width now if they can get this ball across them. Vasilakopoulos takes in the line, trying to split the defence. Alan Tate almost through there, caught by his ankles up to the last tackle. And Leeds will use the short side there with Ellery Hanley. Kicks through, and that beats everyone and goes dead. So good spell of attack from Leeds and good defence from Salford.
Yeah, it was. That was good to see some commitment from Salford on defence and doing just enough to prevent Leeds scoring, because it looked right through the 6 that Leeds were looking for openings, but Salford defence standing firm. Again, important period of his play, because another try to Leeds already could have given Salford an impossible task, but at 6-0, well, there's still got to be hope, particularly after the last Salford attack. And a thanks to Mr. Tennant for seeing the Leeds offside and giving Salford some opportunity to go forward with the penalty. And Salford going for the touch. Good ground forward, and Cliff Eccles wanted that one. But it's going to take some unlocking this Leeds defence. Look at the number of Leeds defenders around the one Salford attacker. Bob Marston that time put down. Little run around. Quigley. Panapa's out there looking for an opening. Goes up the centre himself, but there's no way through Leeds defence. Salford running positively. McAvoy. But McAvoy tackled the minute he gets the ball, and Salford just not making the headway forward. Crossfield movement nonetheless. Brown sacked by Iro before he gets into his stride. So it's the up and under again, the kick and the chase. Lots of people there. Comes back Salford way, still goes back. It's the last one. Another kick over into space. Fallon takes that and drops it. Comes back on the Salford side, so another 6 for Salford. Can they convert this position? McAvoy's trying on his own. So close, a try for Salford here. Really bring them back into it as they need to. A second chance for a 6, but back inside move. Eccles doing well to go forward, but still 5 metres from the line. Marston going on his own, but so many Leeds defenders there that Marston won't go down. Does now. Marshall onto Brown, to Quigley onto Webster. Webster can't get clear because the Leeds defence is tenacious. Leeds coming into this one, and the referee picking out a couple of Leeds players under the sticks. So what are Salford going to do? Well, this is the third set of 6, but the Leeds defence looking solid, Stuart.
Yes, it is at the moment. I think Salford will take the 2 points on offer this time, and that's a sensible thing to do. I think at this early stage of the game will give them a chance to take the 2 points, because they didn't look, to be honest, as though they were going to break the Leeds defence down, Steve.
No, I regret to say you're right there, Stuart. Yeah, the Leeds defence is looking far too good for them, isn't it? This thing about playing the game at twice the speed, I mean, it's true on attack and it's also true in defence, and all the confidence in the Leeds ranks. I've got to look on this game as a certain victory if they're going to maintain the title challenge. And Salford, at the moment, I think will be glad of the 2 points.
Yes, Craig. Sean Brown will be looking to put that ball over. He's got the sand out now, and this is just to the side of the post, so it should be no problem for the kicker of his quality. And Leeds, of course, caught offside there in that set of 6. James Lowe's the culprit, just moving up a little too quickly for Ray Tennant's liking. So Sean Brown then, straight through the middle. And a penalty from Sean Brown makes it Leeds 6, Salford 2. We've been playing for about 11-12 minutes now, in fact 15 minutes according to the clock, and Leeds will be kicking off with Alan Tate. Tate's kick goes spinning down and Brown picks up, looks for a runner, finds Ian Blaze, and Blaze twisting and turning in the tackle, looking to break down this solid Leeds defence. And Leeds quickly up at the play the ball, shouts of offside from the home crowd. Cliff Eccles. Quigley. When Marshall actually goes from acting half the hooker. And this time it's Quigley now. And runs straight into the size bulk of the senior 5 mile on. We're up to the last tackle, and Brown will put the kick in. Puts a steepling kick down the field, and Alan Tate will just run back and pick that one up under no pressure at all on his own 10-metre line, and brings play up to the 20 before he's brought down in the tackle by number 12 Ian Blaze, and a penalty goes to Leeds. So penalties coming thick and fast at the moment, Graham.
Yeah, I think what it is 17 minutes gone. I think people are just getting a bit with the weather and probably just nicking that yard, getting a bit frustrated. And I think, once everybody's settled down, I think the game will be full flowing.
Well, indeed, here comes a senior 5 mile. And you've played a while at Leeds, but we haven't had a player like a senior 5 mile before, have we, Graham?
No, he's got, people don't realise how much work he does, when you're off the field. But when you're on the field, you notice how many drives he does, how many tackles he does, and how many busts he does. It's amazing that I think he's one of the biggest averages at the moment for Leeds, how many busts that he does do in a game.
Innes, it's a good ball for Iro, and Iro puts Fallon away there on the outside, and Fallon confidence to take men on, back inside for Alan Tate. Tate's going. And a good tackle from Scott Naylor coming in there on Alan Tate, and it had to be a good tackle because Tate was buzzing there. Vasilakopoulos will take men on. Vass. Leeds using the short side with Ellery Hanley, and Ellery Hanley, who's developed a kicking game of late, and we'll get Leeds 6 more tackles for Salford have to drop out. Well, Ellery Hanley started to use the short kicks near the line, Graham.
I think it's because he scored against Bradford Northern, and it came off him. That's why he's got a bit confident about kicking the ball. But that's a good set of 6 by Leeds. They get the ball back again. I think with the pressure, some teams do falter in their defence, and I think at the moment Salford are scrambling very well, and I hope that they can get a good set of 6 in Leeds and hopefully score another try.
So Sean Brown kicks the ball out, and it holds up in the breeze. And Vasilakopoulos takes it 10 metres inside the Salford half of the field, and Gary Mercer steps out of McAvoy's tackle, gets the ball away, and James Lowe's 5 mile straight through the gap. 5 mile, great play there for Hanley. 3 men in at the tackle there for Ellery Hanley. Hanley held down Leeds. The penalty there coming against Vasilakopoulos and Jim Latham, I think, getting in one another's way. And so led off there for Salford.
Yeah, and also a reminder to us how we take it for granted that these guys know how to get into position to take a pass, that just for once a Leeds player overran his teammate in possession, and yeah, a let off for Salford, because there was no doubt that Leeds were buzzing. Leeds have really come here to win this one today. And in fact, if anything, they're moving this ball around in such a way that it really makes it difficult to believe how difficult the conditions are. But Salford are holding their own, let's not forget that. No more so than that guy, Bob Marsden, so difficult to put him down. 19 minutes gone in Salford, on the 20 again for Leeds. A little forward pass that the referee didn't see there. Marsden taken down in the middle. Marshall wants it, attacked in half. Quigley's going to come it back this way. Brown's there, taking a long pass, a difficult one. Probing, but not really with any chance of succeeding, because it's going to need more than one-man probes to break down the Leeds defence. It's going to need the teamwork, the team effort, maybe the strength to break through, but it's going to need many supports. Another little forward pass, got away with. Ian Blease is run around, in the end loses the ball, and the referee is going to say he was knocked out of his hands, and so a chance for Salford to go for two more. I think Ian Blease was losing that one then, and perhaps on the blind side of the referee, and perhaps he's feeling sorry for Salford.
Well, it might be. It certainly looked like Blease was losing the ball. He was trying to get rid of it in the tackle, and that's the 7th penalty already to Salford this evening. And again, that should be an easy 2 points. So Leeds, who've missed chances at the other end of the field, suddenly will find themselves only 2 points clear of a game that they've dominated for the first 20 minutes. And Brown again will kick from a similar position to the one before, right in front of the post. And Ray Tennant certainly will be making friends with the Salford contingent with the penalty count so far. 7-4 at the moment. And so far I haven't had a scrum. And Brown, 10 metres from the post, converts. And Salford taking advantage there of the Leeds indiscipline, stealing the ball under the post, and come back to 6 points to 4. So again, Leeds will kick off with Alan Tate, and the Lioness fans who are here in their numbers again this evening will be shouting encouragement as Alan Tate looks to good driving out again from Salford. That's Ian Blease. Good defence there. That's good defence from Phil Hassan. And Kevin Iro. And the light is shining in my eyes there, if you're wondering why I said Phil Hassan then. And Salford with a bit of a roll on at the moment. Bob Marsden comes turning in the tackle. And Brown puts the kick down the field. Alan Tate takes it on the full, and we'll bring this ball back and bring it back with purpose, and there's a gap there for Tate. And a good tackle coming in from McAvoy. Iro now on the charge. The penalty, Ray Tennant does allow the advantage to be taken before he gives a penalty. There was no advantage to Leeds, so the penalty's gone. We've seen him do that on both sides this evening. Vasilakopoulos will kick and finds touch. And so Leeds will charge forward with Jim Latham. That's good driving there from the youngster. First full game for Leeds this evening. A couple of substitute appearances this season. And Yassini Faimalo carries that on, and that's great running. That's up to the 10-metre line. So Leeds again close in George Mann, and George Mann will twist and turn. Vasilakopoulos spinning, finds Gary Mercer there. Mercer held up just 5 or 6 metres short there. And a quick play of the ball from Lowe's, finds Craig Innes. And it's George Mann on the angle, running there. And we're running there on a post for a try. Well, that's the qualities that Leeds paid the money for George Mann for, and we've seen that in recent weeks. 3 tries in the last 3 matches.
Yeah, everybody's saying, oh, he's too old when he first signed for Leeds, but I think last year everybody knew what he did to us at home when we played St Helens. I think he destroyed us that day, and I think now he's coming into his own. He's got used to how the players got used to you know, our game plan, and at the moment, you know, he's been one of our good star players.
And it is nice, isn't it, when you can bring in a player like George Manning when you're missing Gary Mercer or Richie Hayes.
Yeah, it is nice when you're playing and it's a, you know, very hard game, and then you've got two substitutes like Neil Harmon, George Mann, or Asini Marlow and Neil Harmon. I think, you know, when the forwards are getting tired, you know, and it's good to bring, you know, two very good players on. You know, at the moment they could be playing international.
Yeah, that's the thoughts of Graham Allroyd, who's with us this evening. You'll be hearing more from him as the game progresses. Francis Cummins is lining the kick-up now. And Steve, gap opened wide for George Mann running on the angle.
Oh yeah, it was a good try. Purposeful running at pace, determination, and just too strong for the Salford defenders. And you do get the impression that Leeds are playing this game with a gear or two in hand even now, and Salford increasingly, if they're not careful, will be chasing the shadows. Cummings with the conversion attempt, and the crowd told us they liked that one before he went through the sticks. Pushing Leeds is lead up to 12 points to 4. 25 minutes gone.
And Fallon comes in the field looking for work, steps the first man. George Mann thought about the pass, thought better of it there, as Salford man was still in the way, and here comes Jim Latham now, who's done nothing wrong at all so far this evening. Leeds are looking for the big game from Jim Latham. Alan Tate puts the kick in. Scott Wilson chases back to pick that up. And Wilson runs at Kevin Iro and steps the big man there up to the 20 metres before he's brought down. Good clearing run from the Australian fullback making his debut this evening. And again, there's 3 Leeds men in at the tackle. And Richard Webster there, been left out of the Wales team. Richard Webster, former Swansea Rugby Union player. And again, Leeds quickly into the tackle, finds Sean Brown. That was a forward pass for Ian Blaze. And Panapa puts a kick in. That's not a very good kick, and in fact Alan Tate should be under no trouble whatsoever. He can afford to stop that one with his boot. And again, Tate looks for the gap and spins straight through it there, Tate. Oh, and he's lost the ball there, Alan Tate. And big defence there, and Tate losing the ball and complains the referee that was knocked out.
Yeah, a great run from Alan Tate, brilliant run from him. Positive, determined running. Well, let's also pick out Scott Wilson for that tackle, and also I think it was Bob Marston doubling up. Scott Wilson running forward positively. To me, Alan Tate, great defence from him. I love that tackle. And it gives Salford a chance of respite, because if the tackle hadn't been made, then Alan Tate was almost certainly under the post. So a try-saving tackle from the Salford point of view, and the chance now for Salford to see if they can score a try this evening in the 20. Webster handling, pushing one off, but not a second. Gets the pass away to little Sean Brown. Sean Brown's dodging with it. It's a long pass. Naylor makes it his. Tries to get into motion, gets his pass inside to Cousins. Cousins going so well, crossfield rather than straight. Being dragged down. Well, this is inspiring play from Salford. Must be giving them the thought that maybe there's something on. Little kick through, going to Fallon. Fallon tackled quickly by Critchley, and then in the end bundled over his own line. Some referees might have said that was a double tackle, but again Mr. Tennant giving the benefit of the doubt that the tackle wasn't completed until Jim Fallon was pushed back over his line. So a good period of play from Salford, good attack from Salford, lifting the hearts of the Salford fans and mine. But still 12-4 down, and Leeds with the dropout. Who's going to take it? Quigley made it his. Blees in the surprising position of acting half. So Wayne Marshall says that's where I should be, and he goes on his own. Oh, nice little run from him from nothing. Great little break from Marshall, pushing Salford forward again. Eccles going forward, striding forward with determination, the sort that brought Manny's try. Salford working this ball well, men over this side, ball a bit slow at the end. Webster getting so close, much better play from Salford, pushing the ball through the hands. Little kick through, comes back to Salford side. Wilson makes it his, he's running and running, but has to go under a player rather than over him, and the referee says that's the 6-1, and Leeds want to get on with it straight away. Good 6 from Salford, but again, Leeds on defence looking solid, Stuart.
Yes, big defence from Leeds there. And the penalty against. Good work there from Leeds, get the penalty. And still Salford 8 penalties to 6, and it's been not a dirty game, not one penalty for foul play so far this evening, or for technical offences at the play of the ball, mostly in offsides. As you see, Marlow drives forward towards halfway. That's good running again from the big Western Samoan, and Jim Latham will carry that on. So Latham to his feet, quick plays the ball, Leeds with Vasilakopoulos injecting himself into the line. That's a good ball for George Mann, again running at the angle, Leeds. And now Innes will bring the backs in there. That's for Iro. Iro's up the middle of the field. All offside Salford, and again allowing the advantage to go there, Graham. And when there was no advantage to Leeds, he blew up for the penalty. He's done that plenty of times this evening.
Yeah, I think that we're very unlucky. I think when Kevin Iro went through, I think everybody knew that they were going to be 6 points on the board. And, you know, luckily for Salford, that what happened there, Ray Tennant blew a few seconds before, and now he's given the penalty to Leeds, so I think there'll be 2 points on the board.
I agree with Graham. I think he blew a bit too soon then, didn't he? Because Iro was in full pelt and they'd broken the first line of the defence. But it's the penalty and the chance for 2 more nonetheless.
There's penalties at the moment, 7 to Leeds, 8 to Salford. And 5, Francis Cummins with the ball on the sand. And so here he comes now. Francis Cummins, it's straight in front of the post, but there's no easy kicking on this greasy wet surface, and really it's not a night for goal kickers, and this is a sort of night when goal kickers win their matches. They certainly don't lose them. And Francis, who's not been a regular kicker, but I saw him practicing the other day, really. He's hit the post there, and luckily there for Francis Cummins. And again, big defence from Leeds from Craig Innes there, tackling Salford at that ball, bouncing off the post. Bob Marsden moving the ball out of the tackle. This is better play from Salford. Sean Brown tries to straighten it up. Jim Latham has him. We'll see if Marlow, and eventually he's forced down into the ground. Richard Webster. Lovely ball out the tackle. That's great defence again from Leeds, and it's Kevin Iro who's been well to the fore with his tackling this evening. Poor pass, Salford picking the ball up. Panapa puts the chip in. Kick into space there for Panapa. That's kick forward and missed there and picked up, and the ball goes loose, and a knock-on will be the result of that. So Salford a bit of 6s and 7s, Steve.
Well, yeah, at the end of the move they were, but in actual fact in that 6 we probably saw more open rugby from Salford than we did in the whole of the game on Sunday, and at least it's good to see that Salford are really trying to move this ball around. A little bit unlucky at the end, a little bit scrappy at the end, but it was a nice kick over into space. But Leeds alert to whatever Salford have been able to do so far. What's this discussion about, Stuart?
I don't know, but it's obviously somebody's been having a little tete-a-tete, and it's Scott Naylor and Craig Innes, I think, who've incurred the wrath of the touch judge. And that nothing much there. Timekeepers who are over on this side. Ray Tennant just waves the magic wand to say time can go. Vassie feeds a scrum. Hanley picks up there. And a penalty there to Leeds. Sean Brown not allowing Hillary to get up and play the ball. And the crowd going absolutely bananas, the Salford crowd. And this is the 3rd Leeds kick of a touch this evening. It's Francis Cummins who's having a go this time. and finds a good touch there right up towards halfway. And the Leeds crowd just singing the praise of Ellery Hanley. And Assini Faimalo will lead the Leeds rampant charge up the middle of the field. Innes now with the ball in his hands, looks to switch there and switches for Gary Mercer. It's the ball back. And Allen is still too good to get out of the first tackle. And Alan Tate switching, trying to move play back into the middle of the field. And Leeds just at the moment stuck pinned just inside the Salford half of the field. And Gary Mercer, a bit of direct running there up the middle of the field. Hanley looks to shove men off Hanley with his back to the defence, looks to offload the ball, can't offload it. James Lowes looks for his options. His options are Alan Tate on his right for the kick, which is what he does there, and Tate puts the ball high and long. And offside there, Francis Cummins. And the decision there, I think that was fairly justified, Steve.
Yeah, and it was a great take from Cousins under pressure, unflinching. There's been a change on the Salford side. Martin Burkitt is on. I haven't noticed who's gone off. We'll pick it out in a minute. And Salford certainly had their best spell a few minutes ago. Is it McAvoy? Thank you, Stuart. Salford moving this ball well, though. Nice little inside ball to Webster. Please, thank you. Of course it's Ian, please. Pineapple trying to get the support in the right place. Gone back, says the referee. So Jonathan Quigley goes forward. There's Sean Brown, it's the high one, it's going long, and Tate takes that so well, made it look easy, and immediately tries to turn defence into attack.
It's good play there from Alan Tate. Jim Fallon quickly picking up that ball and knocks off the first man. Can't get the ball away. Iro just stepped just slightly to the wrong side if Fallon was to release that ball, but Iro will take men on, will knock men off. And finally gets the ball away. That's good play, George Mann. Again, shrugging men off there. So Leeds at the moment running Salford ragged, and here comes Assini Faimalo, who's worked really hard all evening. Up takes play just 10 metres inside the Leeds half of the field, and George Mann now is just happy to take the tackle. Gets the ball back to Alan Tate for the kick. Tate just puts the kick downfield. It splits the winger and the full-back, the winger. And straight at Philisan. And Philisan done a tremendous amount of defence, Graham, this evening.
Yeah, we call him the assassin now because of what he don't utter one word. As long as we tell him to do a job, he does the job. And at the moment, I think he could be one of the top tacklers. They're playing down his side. I think they're thinking that he's a weak link, but at the moment he's shown, that he can defend and he can run with the ball.
This is one of the Leeds youngsters who've come through in the last few years from the Wigan area, of course. Played with Wigan Academy at one time, and Leeds are offside there. And again, Ray Tennant waits to see the advantage, to see whether Salford could make the advantage there, but that was not the case. So Salford a spell of attack, Steve.
Yeah, and it would be nice if just before half-time they could convert that into a try, but in actual fact we're seeing a Salford performance tonight which is much better than we saw on Sunday, because on defence they have kept Leeds at bay for most of the time, although Leeds have scored the 2 tries, and on attack Salford are trying to do something. We're seeing a lot of one-man efforts, but we are seeing some good passing as well in between time, like that. Marsden has to strain up. Salford have a good line over Salford left, but Marshall chooses to go on his own. And whilst he makes a a few metres forward, just in the shadow of the post. Quigley's trying to do the same. Nice long pass out this side, and Taylor's going over to score. Oh, it's a good try for Salford. Scott Naylor just doing enough to look as though he was going to pass. It was the long pass out from the centre of the field that just did enough to create space, and Salford has scored a try. Great score for Salford, coming just at a vital time before the interval. 39 minutes on the clock, and really that's going to give us a lot of heart, because that reduces the arrears to 12 points to 8.
And I'm sure Leeds will not be very happy with that. They'd have settled for the 12 points to 4. To be fair, they've kept Salford out, and only the penalties of Ray Tennant have led to Salford being in the Leeds half of the field for most of the time. Alan Taylor is again will kick off. Settling the ball, looks up to see the position where he wants the ball to go. And again, that's Sean Brown. Finds Ian Blease. And Ian Blease predictably runs into Kevin Ido as he's done. There goes a hooter for the end of the first half. So Leeds, as far as they're concerned, a bad end to the first half. But we've seen enough, I think, in that first half from Leeds to show that they really want to play the ball and move it now.
Yeah, I think they'll be a bit... I don't know.
Yes, I think just caught Graham Allroyd unawares there. I think Leeds will be happy enough, Graham, with the first half and looking to move it away around in the second half.
Yeah, I think they'll be a bit disappointed that Salford did score, you know, with a minute to go. But I think he'll give them a good talking over. And I think in the second half, I think the skill that Leeds have got could tell, and the fitness that Leeds have got as well. I think, you know, that could tell, and I hope, you know, in the last 10 minutes, that's where it could all count.
So Leeds then with the kick-off. Gary Mercer will run the ball back, and Salford will have obviously had a talking to. And what do you think? You're in on the inside of things, Graham. What do you think Dougie Lawton will have said at half-time?
He'll just says, keep on going as you are, keep doing the margins, good kicking game in this half. You know, take your chances when they come, but until then, just keep doing the hard yards and get the kicking game going.
That's right, and Jim Latham, good run there through the dummy, and then made another 10 metres. And it's a senior 5 mile. The first half penalties were 10-8 to Salford. The scrums 1-0 to Leeds, and only one completed scrum in that first half. George Mann, he'll take play forward up to the last tackle. Leeds are up to halfway, and we can go back to Alan Tate now to put the kick in. He steps the first man, bobs the ball over, picked up there by Phil Cousins, who's gone over onto that right-hand touchline side. And McAvoy, good run from him. Brown fetching on Ian Blease. No support for Blease. He looked to turn around in the tackle. No support there. And again, Salford use a short side. That's a good ball for Panaper. And Panaper strides through Vasilakopoulos' tackle, and Vasilakopoulos came back and get him the second time, and Salford have many an overlap on that far side if they can get the ball out. That's going to be a knock on there. Even Ray Tennant couldn't say that one went backwards, Steve.
No, there's Salford trying to play the rugby, but just choosing the wrong option. The long pass wasn't really necessary at that stage because Salford had so many men over, but an indication of the willingness for Salford to try and move this ball around, much more so than they did on Sunday. And a good tackling six from Salford in that first six as well, but Leeds with the initiative again now with possession.
As Phil Hassan just comes in field, takes the ball forward up towards halfway from that scrum. And now Gary Mercer will. And he's lost the ball there, and
a good take from McAvoy that was. Leeds unlucky not to be able to take that one cleanly, but just for the minute Salford on a little bit of a roll, and Marshall making a lot of ground up the middle before being dragged back half the way. McAvoy back on, Burkitt's on. Not sure what the change now. It's a good run from Salford. Marston choosing to go on his own, runners with him, and Salford inside the Leeds 20. Panaper Great break from him, a minute or two ago, and again another drive forward, putting Leeds under pressure. Salford inside the 10 and going forward really positively with determination. Pass on the outside, but the Leeds defence hanging firm there. Salford close to the line, little kick through, bounces anywhere, and in the end is it Leeds who drop on it over the line. Well, the referee's miles away from it, under the post. Referee, surely. No, they decided that the ball was taken in the field of play, and a good attack from Salford, but again Leeds looking to be comfortable on the defence.
And Salford caught offside, so a little bit of respite there for Leeds as they get their first penalty in the second half. Salford just a little bit too keen and enthusiastic.
Yeah, the change on the Salford side, it's Scott Wilson who's gone off, I think, and I think Naylor's taken up the full-back role.
Yes, and so Salford used 2 substitutes already. Leeds, of course, still with the same 13 that they started with. Jim Latham drives forward, up to halfway, up to play the ball. And that's a Fai Marlow, and that's pushing Wayne. That's good driving defence there. And Leeds, good attacking play. Vasilakopoulos goes himself, switching, trying to make the gap up the middle of the field. And Mercer again, they'll be keen to make amends for that drop ball. Good defence again from Salford. Vasilakopoulos. Guinness. Coming up to the last tackle now, and Leeds have made progress into the Salford half of the field, and a kick from Vasilakopoulos finds touch. That's good. Kick there from Vasilakopoulos. Salford will have heading ball at the scrum.
Yeah, good 6 from Leeds, but a good defensive 6 from Salford. And I'm talking my usual gibberish, it's not Naylor at full-back at all. But no, that was a good defensive 6 from Salford. A lot of bite in the tackles there, and positive running in the attack beforehand. And Salford really showing that they mean business. 2 league points, so important for them. This is getting good, determined running from Salford, looking to keep this ball moving whenever they can. Round on to Webster. Webster slotting into the role of his Welsh teammate. And Quigley running forward strongly. The runner's not quite with him, dropping the ball. And Leeds doing the same, so the first one's going to be given. And Salford moving forward, but again not really looking as though they're going to break. If they break the first line of Leeds defence, they're not breaking the second, Stuart.
No big defence tonight from Leeds, just the one slip up just before half time. Leeds get the ball from the scrum again. Francis Cummins will look for the gap, nowhere to go. Good tackle there. Cummins coming across field looking for the gap. Guinness takes the ball forward himself. There's now short ball there from James Lawes. And that's good driving again from Gary Mercer. He's looking to set up position now, put something forward. Vasilakopoulos finds Innis, and Innis will bring the George Mann in there out wide. And that's good play, and Hanley himself takes play on. Changes jersey, Holiday Hanley. Takes play right into the 20-metre line. And Vasilakopoulos puts the kick in. A cross-field kick comes in there. And that's a drop out under the post. Good defence, good kick from Vasilakopoulos, using the Did It Fox tactic there of looking one way and kicking the other.
Yeah, that's what we'll try to use that tactical time. Gary Schofield normally does it, but Vasis, you know, he's got an old head on young shoulders, as they say, and you know he exploited that very well.
So Vasilakopoulos just waits for the drop out to come, catches it on the bounce. And well settled, good tackle there from Quigley. George Mann again, powering forward. Leeds just 12 metres from that Salford line. With Craig Innis, who looks for the gap, goes himself. And good tackling there from Ian Blease. But Leeds now have a chance to put some pressure on the Salford line. The Fai Marlow will drive forward, and again Leeds just held 5 metres short. And Craig Innis, and a long ball there for Vasilakopoulos. Puts the pedal down. Ooh, and look to offload there. Carinano was in support, but Vasilakopoulos couldn't get the ball away. And Leeds have meant to spare out here now, and Hanley again tries the kick. And really, Hanley would have been much better there, passing the ball, as Graham Allroyd said. But Hanley tried the kick didn't come off, but Salford had penned right down on their own line.
Yeah, and a good defensive 6 from Salford. Really looking as though they mean business this second half of Salford. And Marsden making an enormous amount of ground there. And Salford moving forward, looking for the ball. Critchley wants it that time. And Leeds had to move a long way to get that one, and Salford make it to the halfway line. Good positive play from Salford. Martin Burkitt in the fullback role, and the kick from Sean Brown. Finally going into touch, and presumably, yes, the touch judge says it touched Francis Cummings. Cummings looking totally innocent of having touched it there, Stuart. How did you see it?
Well, the penalty being given there for Francis Cummings, something to say, so Salford will look to take advantage of this. And difficult to see from up here, Graham Allroyd stressing that he didn't touch the ball, and Francis Cummings equally stressing, but while they can penalise Francis Cummings for chalking back, he can't certainly penalise Graham Allroyd. And the snow beginning to fall down heavy now, and Leeds a big spell of defence needed here as Bob Marsden driving forward. Oh, and again big defence from Phil Hassan there. Leeds stretched on the short side and picked up there by Alan Tate, and away Alan Tate there from the first run of defence. That's good driving from Alan Tate there.
Yeah, I think Sean Brown, I think he kicked on the wrong tackle then. I think that were about the third or the fourth, but well, Alan Tate picked it up well, especially in these conditions. It can go anywhere, and he made some good yardage.
Innes then looking to drive that ball forward, looking for runners. Nobody there for Craig Innes as he finds Gary Mercer now. Mercer, that angle run, looking to go around. Good defence there from Jet. Number 3, Scott Neal. Jim Fallon driving up towards halfway. The Leeds have already used up their 5 tackles. And Alan Tate, the ball's back to Alan Tate. Alan Tate hoists the ball, it's spinning. Well taken there by Martin Burkitt.
Great take from Martin Burkitt. Alan Tate playing everybody on side. And Salford trying to play rugby, not trying to, but playing rugby. What a great second half, 10 minutes we've seen. Salford really wound up things this second half. And this is what had been missed on Sunday. The Salford fans sensing that there's something. Salford look as though they want to do something. Ian Blease going forward. Leeds defence holding up for everything Salford can do so far, but the ball going along the line. Very nice. Oh, that was a nice take. Great speed, little inside pass. Critchley's out there, and Salford still going forward strongly. Great surge from Critchley from the pass on to him. Brilliant play for Salford. Brown looking, oh, that was all wasted at the end of it. Salford should have carried on running it through the hands, because give Leeds half a chance. Alan Tate can make so much ground. Disappointing end for me, that, Stuart, after a good attack from Salford.
Yes, it was a good attack, and a lovely ball over there, but the player through the gap, and then the kick at the end. Jim Latham just drives forward. So again, Leeds just 10 metres inside their own half with Gary Mercer. He's setting the ball up a lot this second half, but on the snare stand side. Vasilakopoulos finds Innes. Iro into stuck behind him to take the ball, and Iro finds Tate, and there looks to be a gap there for Alan Tate. Ball up to halfway, great tackle there. Back to Vasilakopoulos, and Vasilakopoulos puts the kick in. That spins down towards the touchline side. He probably won't go, but that's not what Leeds want. They'll look for the big defence on Martin Burkitt, and that's exactly what they've got. Vasilakopoulos up quick to chase his own kick. And offside going to be Jim Latham when he makes the tackle. But the referee allowing the advantage there. Cliff Eccles running forward, nowhere to go. Then was that defence again from Fye, Marlow and Lowe's. And it's Richard Webster this time. And Gary Mercer in. Quickly over the top to smother the ball.
Yeah, Salford just not going with quite the same speed in this period of 6. They've used the 6, but they made it to the halfway line. And now we do need the kick from Sean Brown, and that's a kick that's a good deep kick into space. It's running and running. The Salford chasers are there. Cummings picks it up and makes good ground. Good chase from Salford. Good period of rugby. Good second half, Stuart, isn't it?
It is. It's much better than the first half. Both sides tackling, and Salford have certainly come out fired up for this second half, and they're looking to put pressure on Leeds. Jim Fallon comes in field looking for work. Can't make any progress down the middle of the field. Leeds just using up the tackles at the moment. Making the progress, James Lowe's. This is the first time he's run from acting half back this evening, James Lowe's. Furthered his tactics well. That's the first time he's made the break. Hanley throws a dummy. Goes straight down the field, Hanley. Will take Martin Burkett on with Hanley. And Hanley's leg just goes into touch there. But what a great run from Hanley.
Oh, that's the man turning the clock back into. There was no space for him to go through, but he made the space his own. Great determination, but let's give credit also to Martin Burkett. He made him go towards the touchline, and he hung on to him, and in the end forced him into touch. Jonathan Quigley on his own. Salford still going forward like that. Marsden made it his. Nearly found Ian Blease in support. As it is, Sean Brown looking for space, almost finding it, but Leeds wary of the potential in that man. Panaper this time with the kick. Again, it's a high one, it's deep, and going to run. Is it going to run dead? No, it has to be played. Salford chasers, perhaps not that good this time, but good enough to keep him within the 10. So another good 6 from Salford, and Leeds having to work the ball from inside their own 20 again, and they're doing that. And so much danger and potential in the Leeds team. Men with speed and pace. If the tackle's broken, then there's the prospect of a try. Iro, nice little extra man break. There's a chance for Fallon. Oh, good tackle by Panaper. But as play goes on, good play from Leeds.
Danny Mercer there going for the corner, into passing there between Leeds. James Laws is on for the try, is he? Certainly is, that's a try, and that could be the killer here. Lovely interplay there between Danny Mercer, Jim Fallon, Kevin Iro, James Laws.
Yeah, very good play there from their own 22, and I think that's the sort of spirit that we've got now, Leeds. We are expected to throw the ball, from his own 22, and we've got the confidence to do that. I think last year we didn't have the confidence, to throw it really in their 22, but at the moment with our confidence side, it just shows there.
How much, Graham, just talking not about this game, but how much do you think that game and the victory over Wigan has instilled the confidence into Leeds?
Oh, well, before, when we were getting beat, as heads were down, for X amount of games, but we've beat Wigan, and in our heads we definitely know that we can beat them again. Everybody's saying, oh, we're a fluke, they didn't play as well, but I think that it's just because we put our determination into that game, that we played well. And I think, if we do get them in the cup final, I think, we'll go in there really confident, that we can win the game.
Matt Schultz will come on, and Leeds won't lose anything in the defence with Matt Schultz on.
No, he's a very good defence. I'm glad to see that he has come up. He had a cruciate ligament injury, exactly the same as Gaz's. I've seen him in the training. He's showing so much determination now. He's been training very hard for this game, and he's been looking forward to it, near enough all week.
Yes, he was absolutely mortified today when I told him it might rain and that the rain might be off, the game might be off. He was certainly well fired up. Francis Cummings cuts in field, nowhere to go.
Yeah, good try from Leeds. That a great period of rugby, 15 minutes into this second half, and Leeds coming up trumps with the important score that gives them a clear breeding ground now in this game. And looking for more night. And it was a good try, Stuart. He had to be worked at down this side, and Leeds got the men in support, and then too many for the Salford defenders. And coming at the end of a very good 15 minutes of second half rugby league. Little kick through into space. Martin Burkett makes it his. Good chase from Leeds, 4 men up. And Salford perhaps just having the wind knocked out of their sails a little bit. That ball dropped right at the start to the second tackle, and chance for Leeds.
Yes, Tate will pick the ball up and could make Salford pay there. It's a high tackle on Alan Tate, but Hanley it is who passes the ball from acting half. George Mann running around there with Vasilakopoulos, puts in his through the gap, and Innes is away, and Innes will take him in on himself there. Slides over for the try, and that's the winning try for Leeds, Graham.
I think so, you know, I think the last try that James Lowe scored, I think that was a coffin on the head, but I think definitely now, I think the coffin's in the grave, actually. And I think now what's going to happen is that, you know, that Leeds could get 40, 50 points.
Yes, they're certainly running away with it. And as you said, Steve, if you thought they got 2 tries, they might get 5.
Yeah, they had to wait a long time, 15 minutes for the first one, but it's been 2 in 2 minutes. And it was that long pass out from Hanley, the little run around, Innes taking it on, and then having the strength and the speed to push off the Salford tacklers. And in the end, while Salford did so well to halt him up before the line, he got so much momentum that on this greasy pitch, he slid over for the 4th try to Leeds, lengthening their lead to 20 points to 8, 19 minutes into the second half.
So Leeds now 20 points to 8, and a long way for Salford, a big mountain to climb if they're going to be successful here this evening. But Sean Brown certainly looks keen enough to get fired up again. Salford taking off number 12, who's Ian Blease, and bringing on Craig Randall. And the ball comes downfield and it's stopped by Alan Tate. And Alan Tate always likely to make the break. Fallon. And Salford persisting in tackling upstairs. And now it's Gary Mercer's turn to drive that ball forward. And Leeds will be quite happy to use up the tackles now and just take the ball towards halfway and use the big kick. Matt Schultz. Straight through Randall's tackle there. Tate bobs that ball downfield again into space, sending Martin Burkitt running many a mile. Kevin Iro just stops the drop there. And Gary Mercer just injured down in front of us there, just trying to run off a knock, I think. But that's not serious enough to get the Leeds medical staff on at the moment. Another good set of tackles there. And Randall, first touch of the ball for him, and immediately falling down in the tackle of Matt Schultz. So the two subs in at each other right from the start. Sean Brown's pass comes out there to Scott Naylor. Oh, that's a good ball inside for Panaper. Webster. Still standing up there, gets the ball away, that's good football. And Salford moving the ball out with McAvoy. Inside ball there. Oh, that's good play from Salford now. Could there be something here? Oh, a superb tackle.
Brilliant rugby from Salford, absolutely magnificent rugby. But unfortunately, not that. I know what's this time. Oh, he should have gone. Little kick through, and the ball's going to go dead. And the end of a brilliant piece of rugby. Had a 3-man overlap for Salford. Sam Panaper, it's easy for us to say from up here, took the wrong option because there was certainly a try on in the corner. But that is as good a piece as team rugby as we've seen all night. Salford having to work the ball through the hands, and they did that with great courage, conviction, purpose and speed, and disappointed not to score at the end of it, Stuart.
Well, a couple of seasons ago when Salford were playing really well, Steve, that was the sort of rugby they were playing at every tackle. And that was the sort of rugby we expected when we came here this evening. The Dougie Lawton's team talk before the game, I was there when he wrote the notes down, with that Salford would like to move the ball about and we can't afford to let them. And nobody did better than that than Richard Webster.
Yeah, he did. And can they wind it up again now, Salford, just outside the 20s? Is the 3rd tackle. Marston's going storming through on his own. Brilliant run from Marston. Again showing that positive, determined running. Now where are the Salford men over this side? Good clean hands this side. He's going and going. Little pass on to Burkitt. Out there to Creechley. Creechley held up just short of the line. And if that isn't the difference between the two teams, Leeds would have scored from that. But Salford didn't. But they're still moving this ball well. Now these men over on the right. Webby didn't let it go. He's got the ball pushed down. Salford must have 6 more. The referee's waving them off, and Salford must keep this momentum going with purpose. So close, Marshall, so close to that line. But they need to move it about. We've seen it go from right to left and back to right, and Salford need to keep it coming over this side. There's a good lineup. Panaper's in the line. Marston is not going to Marston. It doesn't go, it goes to hand. Nail just getting wrapped up there, and Leeds coming out on the better with that play. having the better of the Salford attack, but thrilling play. Panapa just losing it, but just doing enough, and all of a sudden Marston having to be alert to prevent a Leeds breakaway, and the Leeds defence coming out on tops after all that, because there's going to be the kick over the top. The chasers are still there, Craig Randall's there, but it sits beautifully for Alan Tate. Enthralling, exhilarating rugby from Salford, but the defence from Leeds just too good against Stewart.
Yes, and I think the tackle from Jim Fallon there really killed that move, Graham.
Yeah, it came in very well. Then he drove him back about 5-6 yards, and I think Salford, they were unlucky there. They had a few men overlap on the right hand side down there, but the number 11, he didn't choose to give it to his other two men, and they lost 35 yards.
That's right, and now Leeds have that ball in that 35-yard area where Matt Schultz will take the ball down towards the touchline side, just making sure he stays in touch. Gets up now, James Lawes will find Asini Faimalo, and again a swinging arm coming in from Jason Critchley there, but Faimalo was already going low. Alan Tate again kicks that ball into space, and Alan Tate's kicked well tonight, Graham.
Yeah, he's kicked very well. He's kicking into space. He's not going for dead, and he's not going for the touchline. He's just kicking into the space, and that's causing, quite a lot of problems for the Salford fullback.
And Salford having to spin about. Critchley there, duck down. Leeds have got an injury there, and it's Phil but he gets back to his feet. Good play from Jason Critchley.
Yeah, great determination from him, and Salford looking to move this ball again. This is good play from Salford. Richard Webster, though, as he just losing the ball. Referee says it's all right. Leeds come up with it, and Salford attack has to become Salford defence, because Leeds have the possession from the drop ball.
Drop ball there, Leeds picking it up. Gary Mercer gets the ball away to Ido, and now Ido puts the pedal down, turns and twists Panapa. The ball going in a touch there. Kevin Ido just trying to work there. Would have probably been better to hold on there.
Yeah, I think he's got very good hands as Kev, but I think that was just a little bit elaborate. He knows that he's done wrong, and I think, we've kept the pressure on now, so let's hope we can keep him down here and get the ball back.
There's 26 minutes gone, so only 14 minutes left for play. Leeds 20 points to 8 to the good. Salford scrum. And number 14, Martin Burkitt it is, who brings the ball away. Hanley, good tackle. And now Panapa, who's had his moments tonight, although not quite so many as he usually had at Wigan.
Yeah, I think that's the story of Sam Panapa's season. Referees let Salford off for that one. So Marshall make amends by making some ground forward. Quigley goes forward on his own. Has he got many support? He doesn't want anybody. They're all Salford all over the other side. Coming outside now, Marston. Nice pass on from Marston. Webster just taking his eye off the ball there, and it's going to be brought back. Richard Webster playing well today. Good performance from Salford. Sort of performance that really makes you question what on earth they were doing on Sunday for the cup game, because we've seen some sparkling handling from them in the second half, and Salford have been unlucky not to score. Got so close to the Leeds line. Leeds about to make another change over there, Stuart.
So it's young Nick Fossard, who's won the first team appearance this season against Australia, and certainly impressed Bobby Fulton, I can assure you. And Gary Mercer, I think, will be the Leeds player to come off, is it? In fact, at the moment, Salford it is who are going to make a substitution. Vasilakopoulos feeds a scrum. And Jim Fallon steps in field, and Panapa coming out of that's good loose forward play from Sam Panapa. Kevin Iro stretching out there. Down the middle of the field, nowhere to go, and again Leeds using the short side now with George Manu. He's so physically strong, he's just virtually impossible to bring down in those situations. Vasilakopoulos, Craig in his steps. Vasilakopoulos again, who's come really into this game in the second half. Player right under the Salford post, 10 metres out now with Craig in. He's moving along the line. Gary Mercer. Mercer's out to Fallon. And Fallon can only take the tackle there. He took the ball, and Jason Critchley at the same time, and now it's Tate, puts the kick in for the corner. Goes dead. And the ball just going dead. So Salford a chance to run the ball out from their own 20 metres.
Yeah, the kick over hit there. And the referee stopping the play. And that was good to see. Webster and Cousins looking for that ball. And Richard Webster being replaced by Ian Blease. Webster's had a good game today, no doubt about that. Certainly impressed. Marston has as well. Run all day in the Salford cause. Marshall urging the Salford teammates on to get into line. But Randall unable to make any progress. It's 3 Leeds tacklers. Good pass on to Naylor, and a pass on to Critchley. Critchley takes it. Megan is now, can Critchley go on his own? 3 Leeds defenders there, no way through for him in the end. But again, another example of sparkling play from Salford, making a lot of ground. Now can Salford find a gap over this side? Men over if it can only go. Like that, has to come inside, and the pass goes on over there. But in the end, again, the speed of the Leeds defence just too fast for Salford attack, but it's sparkling rugby from Salford, Stuart.
It's a lovely ball out on this side to set Jason Critchley away. Great defence from Alan Tate, who just shepherded his man exactly where he wanted him. Leeds have got a chance now. They're going to take a scenic for a mile off, and they'll bring Nick Fozzard on. And again, they won't lose anything with Nick Fozzard on the field, because he does run straight. That's another head and ball win to Leeds, and Francis Cummins it is who just takes play away from the touchline, and Fozzard will look to and Phyllis Sam through the gap there, almost through the gap. And Nick Fozzard now has a chance there, bounces men out of the way. Only 17 years of age. Nick Fozzard, that's good play there from Schultz, just stepping inside. And Leeds keeping the momentum going with the Craig Innes now. Short ball there, in fact that was a long ball for Alan Tate. Tate had looked for the send of the loop round, but Phyllis Sam was still coming back from the middle of the field. Tate leads running a ball there with Craig Innes. Finds Cummins, Cummins is in space. Steps out of a couple of tackles, Francis Cummins finally goes to ground. That's the 6th tackle, a little bit of turnover, but Salford pick it up, and Salford have a player injured. And that'll be the 1st tackle. And again, Panapa out there to Scott Naylor. Scott Naylor running across, looking forward, nowhere to go for Scott Naylor. And finally catches Nicholas Fozzard and knocks him down.
So apart from 2 tries in 2 minutes in this second half, Salford certainly have had their fair share of the second half in every way other than points on the scoreboard. Unfortunately for us Salford fans, it's points on the scoreboard that is the only measure of what's good in the game at the end of it. But Salford still looking to get back into it. They're thinking that maybe they've still got a chance, because 2 converted tries could see them drawing level, 8 minutes to go. And again, men over that side. Like that. Nice take, nice take. McAvoy steps inside, but not able to break the 2nd tackle again. But Salford still going forward, and Hanley in an offside position, and the referee picking him out to penalise him to the cheers and jeers of respective supporters, and giving Salford the chance to go forward with the penalty first of all. And now on the 20 with possession, and Cliff Eccles only 10 metres from that Leeds line. They've been there on more than one occasion tonight. Marston pushes one off, but not the second, and Salford's so close again. Nice little switch of play, and the pass goes on. Panapers again caught him before he can get into his stride, because the Leeds defence so good. Long pass, Brown makes it his, steadies himself, still has time to pass on inside. Oh, and the ball drops, and another chance goes a-begging. McAvoy just not quite perhaps sharp enough, concentrating enough. Was it Naylor? It was Naylor, and that's unlike Naylor. And so another very good Salford attack comes to an end because of the mistake. Man of the match for Salford, Richard Webster. So I'm not the only one who's thought what a good game he's had today.
Yes, you're not, because I think he's had a good game as well, and little reward to show from it. He's been a handful all night. He never seems to start many games for Salford. And here comes Kevin Iro now. A risky ball there, and Vasilakopoulos did well to take it. And Nicky Fozzard, who runs strong and hard and straight. The big star of the future, and he will be a big star, won't he, Graham?
Yeah, he's been unlucky. He's had a few injuries, but you know that's only because he's a bit young. He's doing all the weights, and that's taking a toll onto his body. But once he gets into his stride, Fozard, there's no stopping him.
Craig Innister just passing the ball off the floor, and if Alan Tate could have picked that ball up, that Leeds had a real roll on there, and we're looking into the last 5 minutes of this game now, so Leeds just 5 minutes to keep Salford pointless. And that's good defence again from Ellery Hanley. Play just inside the Leeds half of the field.
Yeah, Salford still going forward. Moving this ball well through the hands. Blees going backwards. Nail has time to make it his and still get the pass away to Tom Brown. Nice little inside pass, and Salford playing the handling game so well here, like that. But again, Leeds just waiting for them and then making the tackle. Salford a little bit bunched. Comes back inside, Marsden. Sixth tackle coming up. Brown, nice pass on, but the forward pass this time given on the advice of the Leeds fans over that side. And Salford, perhaps understandably, not able that time to find a clear opening, so Leeds have the chance again.
Sneaky Fozard brings the ball forward. And now it's Matt Schultz, so the two Leeds substitutes well involved there. Schultz ducking under one tackle. Laws quickly finding Hanley. And a good ball there from George Mann, and Iro couldn't take the pass. And a penalty there against Hanley.
So Salford, so much to admire about the Salford performance today. In the second half, they picked up the momentum after the disappointment of Sunday. There's certainly been enough on show to remind us that Salford are a good team after all. And Marshall being allowed to get away with at least one knock on there, but nice for some things to go Salford's way. Marsden, tireless worker, and still the ball keeps moving. Still Salford cast this ball on, and Panapa looking for somebody inside him. Nobody quite in the right position that time. And Salford, Brown's been involved so much, probing all the time. Brown perhaps picking up some tips from Andy Gregory, who didn't really do that much. Oh, nice little play there, but the kick coming in perhaps early in the play, so Salford chases there, but again Alan Tate doing enough to stay in field. And certainly what we've seen and what we should see from Salford for the rest of this season is more of the sort of rugby that we're seeing tonight. Throw the ball around, give it space and give it to the men and the runners. That's what training's all about. Defensively, Salford's tackling has been good tonight. Might have conceded 4 tries, but only in 2 minutes in the second half. They've really done very well holding this powerful Leeds pack and the pace of their 3 quarters, no matter what happens in the rest of this game. So I hope we can see more of that from Salford for the rest of this season. More of the sort of things we've seen in this second half of moving the ball around through the hands. And hasn't Burkitt played well at fullback? Solid and dependable position that not unknown to him. Panapa, Randall, McAvoy can't quite get clear. Cousins will go on his own, but he needs many support. There's one. Sean Brown takes that one well, and Salford passing it again like that. Nice little take from Naylor, and still finds Brown, having followed him up. Brown looking for many support, can't quite find them, and Leeds just waiting and then making the tackle when it counts. And Naylor down here with a problem to Critchley coming to his rescue. First game for Naylor, and Salford still moving this ball, and that was well taken by Ian Blees, and that was well taken by Quigley. And this is Scott Naylor's first game for, is it nearly a month? And Critchley doing the first aid job on the cramp man. And Sean Brown involved in everything in the centre. Such a positive little scrum half, Sean Brown. And Salford not quite in position for that one. That's the high kick. Taken well by Cummings.
Oh, good relieving run there from Francis Cummings, who steps his way out of the men. Good high take. And now it's Gary Mercer's chance to drive the ball away for Leeds. We're into the last minute of normal time. So good win this will be for Leeds when the Hunter goes. Came here tonight, second game in 4 days with a weakened side. And so far they've had the measure of Salford by 4 tries to 1. And Tate's still get there, and Tate's got Hanley in front. Hanley will go there. And Allen is in there for try number 34. At the side of the post, Hanley did well again there. Lovely break from Alan Tate.
Yeah, very good break from Alan Tate. Good inside ball there by Craig Innes. And, you know, the ever-present Hanley's there for his 34th try of the season.
He's 34th, Leeds 5th of the night. 5 tries to 1. Doesn't really sum up the level of commitment that Salford have put into the game, but it just supposedly sums up the skill that Leeds have got compared to Salford.
Yeah, pace is, because on attack Salford have produced the handling skills that have been a match for Leeds, but they've not had the pace to beat the Leeds defence. Leeds' pace on attack has been there to behold, and yes, they deserve to win, but I'm very pleased with this Salford performance tonight. If they can maintain this momentum for the rest of the season, then a top 8 spot is still possible. And Leeds, well, we just hope that really this is their season, Stuart. With nothing else, we want Leeds to win the title, not Wigan.
And the Cup, and the Premiership. And what we really want more than anything is Leeds to go to Australia to play in the World Cup Challenge game.
Yeah, you know, we've seen Wigan, they've been there so many times and they've won it, and I think it's about time, you know, Wigan stepped aside, let a Yorkshire club win it for a change. You know, Lancashire, they always get the trophies. I think the way we're performing today, I think we can mix it with the best over in Australia.
Yes, I'm sure we can. It's been a good performance tonight with a very weakening side. And Francis Cummings converts, and the Hunter will surely be ready to go now. 26 points to 8, Leeds 5 tries, 3 goals. There goes the Hunter. So rare victory here tonight for Leeds. Early 12-8 at half-time, and in the second half, tries from Willows, Innes and Hanley, and 1 conversion from Cummings kept Salford pointless. Leeds 26, Salford 8 as a result here from the Willows. We'll be speaking to Graham Allroyd in a minute. Well, Graham, Leeds came here tonight looking for the 2 points, and they got them a very workmanlike performance.
Yeah, I think everybody were a bit reluctant. You know, the side were only named yesterday, everybody trained yesterday. You know, everybody was saying, oh, all we're going to do after digging into his heels, and let's hope we can get 2 points. But today they've run away winners quite easily. I think the Salford coach, Gary Jack, will be a bit disappointed with their performance, but I think all round today Leeds were very good. And a workmanlike performance from the pack there, who really got to grips. It was a fairly strong pack we had out. Got to grips here and took the pressure, I think, off the half-backs, Innes and Vass. Yeah, I think Jimmy Leatham and Asini Faimal, they took it up, and then Gary Mercer and the other second row, which I can't remember, they did all the work, and, you know, Ellery scored the 2 tries, so, you know, very good workmanlike day for the forwards. And I think the backs as well, Craig Innes and Vasilakopoulos, I think, you know, credit to them, they've only just come in at 6 and 7, they've never played together. I think it's all credit to them as well. So we just keep pegging away and hoping that Wigan can slip up this weekend against Workington. Yeah, we've gone top. Workington, they're playing very well, you know, that could be an upset on the cards, but all we've got to do now is keep plugging away, keep winning our games. Let's hope, you know, one of the teams can beat Wigan. And just going back to the Cup, you're happy with the drawing the Cup? Workington at home, you can't really ask for anything other than a game at home in that round of the Cup? No, I think at Cup games, all you've got to do is hope for an home game. Workington are playing very well, they'll come down to Leeds, they'll be very enthusiastic, but I think, you know, with the side that they've put out today, Leeds, you know, they could beat any other team in the league. So there you have it then, we'll leave you from Salford with the news that Leeds are run out victors here by 26 points to 8.